now. In fact, some breaking news that's coming in on top of the broadcast. The co-flyer urinated on the woman passenger. Now, the Air India has issued a statement. Air India has said, taken serious note of the incident, bans the drunk passenger for 30 days, initiates an internal committee probe. So, Air India has said, will cooperate with the probes. That's a big development that's coming on the story. But to tell us more on this, I have my colleague Arunil joining me on the broadcast. Arunil, good afternoon. This is, of course, the big latest development that's coming on this front, but just talk us through the fact that Air India has released a statement. We're also picking up that the drunk passenger has been banned for 30 days.
That is right. This is the first time where Air India has given out a statement. We can say that the airline company has been relatively late in giving out a statement with respect to this extremely horrific incident that took place on this long-haul flight from New York to New Delhi, dated November 26th. Now, what exactly Air India is mentioning in their statement basically is saying that we have banned the passenger for 30 days or until our internal inquiry is completed. They have also mentioned about the fact that an FIR has been registered, and we will do our very best to cooperate with the law enforcement agencies. That is what Air India is mentioning over here. And also, more importantly, because the lady had said that the crew members had not cooperated with her, had not supported her when the man who was in an alcoholic state, he had urinated on this elderly woman. Air India basically saying that an internal probe by a committee has been ordered within Air India to investigate their own negligence lapses as well. Whether there were lapses, whether there were negligence from their crew members, that will be thoroughly investigated. And if at all any wrongdoings are being found, then appropriate action will be taken. This is the first statement that we are breaking for our viewers. Air India giving out a statement saying that we have banned the concerned accused, basically the concerned passenger, for 30 days or until our investigation is completed. And we will be cooperating with the law enforcement agencies, and also basically saying that we have communicated the matter about this unruly behavior of this passenger to the DGCA as well. Very, very crucial development, and the incident was extremely shameful and shocking. Finally, Air India taking cognizance of it.
Absolutely, Arunil. But of course, the bigger question remains why it took so long to, take that particular decision as well, in terms of also getting the matter highlighted. But thank you for the moment for getting us those latest on this. But I also have my colleague Abhishek joining me on the broadcast to give us more on this particular front. Abhishek, good afternoon. Can you tell us the latest? Of course, Arunil has spoken to us about the fact that what Air India's statement has come through. But what else can you tell us about this latest developing story?
See, definitely at one given point of time, DGCA has ordered a probe. But there is, what I can tell you is, an internal probe has also been ordered by Air India. And they will also, look into it, whether the crew members were part of it or whether they knew and did not highlighted the entire issue. In fact, an FIR will also be registered at the nearest jurisdiction of the police station. And, every inquiry in this will be taking place, and the passenger. Definitely, what we can also tell to the viewers that he was in an alcoholic state, and that's the reason the entire fiasco has taken place. DGCA has already ordered a probe. Air India has, ordered an internal inquiry whether the crew members were aware about it and whether there is a deregulation of duty from their part. In fact, high-level probe has already been ordered, and an FIR will also be registered against the person who has done such a kind of act while on board. So definitely, these kind of things have come out. In fact, the Air India has also taken that passenger off board henceforth, and definitely a thorough inquiry into this matter from the airline itself. In fact, the authority, that is GGCA, and also police action will also be initiated in near future. Back to you.
Right, Abhishek, thank you so much for joining us in the broadcast and of course getting the latest on this. We'll of course keep coming back to you as and when there are more developments, but for the moment we leave it at that. But on the other hand, we're joined in by Captain Amit Singh, founder Safety Matters Foundation, as well as Sarosh Damania, who is a lawyer, on the broadcast to give us their viewpoint about this entire incident that has taken place. Want to thank both of you for taking the time out. Good afternoon and joining us on Mirror Now. I'll come to you first, Amit Singh. In terms of the incident, number one, it was actually reported on November 26th. The big question really arises is why was there a delay for the airline to take cognizance of this matter in such situations?
Seen in every incident that once it is highlighted in the media or the social media that the government agencies are forced to take action. So it is not they're trying to preempt or prevent an incident such as this one, horrific incident. But is the process working? Are we getting to the root cause? We never work towards that. We just want to mitigate the current situation and douse the fire. And we basically depend on public memory that another thing will come up and this will be forgotten. There is no follow-up. No reports are published or revealed. At max, the minister may tweet a line or two that we will probe into the incident. Look at the number of serious incidents where people have died. The SpiceJet turbulence incident, which happened in May. 6 months, more than 6 months has happened. No report has been put out. So the whole process of regulation is not working. This is just an indication. So was there a move to scuttle or stifle this report, amend this report? The witnesses' reports may have been lost, or in judicial process, they might not appear. So DGCA has the powers to take judicial action. But what action have they taken is that is what needs to be probed.
Right, but Sarosh Damania, I'll come to you. What should have been done in this particular case? What are the violations that you spot here in this entire matter that did take place?
See, what should have been done is, of course, once the crew was intimated by the passenger, they should have taken immediate action. First and foremost thing they should have done is intimate the captain of the flight because he's in charge of the aircraft. So the captain should have been immediately informed. Upon landing, the unruly passenger should have been handed over to the airport security, and airport security should have immediately handed over to the FIR, to the police station, and helped the passenger, assisted the passenger to lodge a FIR at that point of time only. Now, what has happened is, now today what is happening because of media pressure, public pressure, this is just belatedly, airline is just trying to cover up the mess which has occurred. But they have not followed the procedure what they should have followed. Of course, thereafter, now what they are doing is there is a provision of regarding unruly passengers. So they have initiated an inquiry. They're suspending him for 30 days from flying in. Thereafter, they also have to report the incident to the DGCA. But that all what they are doing today belatedly should have been done on that same day when the flight landed. This is just a cover up, and of course there is no comment on how the crew behaved, or the crew there should be an inquiry also, of course, done against the aircraft crew and the pilots of the flight. They follow the procedure? Everything is silent on it. Air India is just saying that we are having an internal inquiry that is as per the unruly passenger rules. That is only against the passenger, but they should also get their house in order. They should have proper trained crew, proper crew. And here again, one more thing which has come to life is again safety of the women passengers. Now, a passenger sitting in a business class of aircraft is also not safe in today's day and age. This is a very shameful and very sorry state of affairs, what I would like to say. And of course, as far as the criminal offences are concerned, we are prima facie, it looks to be section 509 of IPC and section 354A. That is a special section regarding sexual harassment and punishment for sexual harassment, which of course offense, if tried and proved guilty, is up to 3 years of imprisonment, and fine also is attracted. But the airline authorities should have taken immediate action. DGCA should take this matter up with, of course, not only Air India, but with all other airlines also, that safety of passengers and security of passengers should be their utmost goal. And airlines also at this point of time should have a safety training or should have trained their crew properly, or in this manner, whatever, if the passenger statement which has come out is read that the passenger has intimated the crew and she was not even given another seat. She was just given a change of clothes and put a
Right.
cloth
So
on.
let me take that point across to Captain Singh. Captain Singh, if you could break it down for us, what is the protocol in such situations? Should the crew have not filed an internal report? Also, on the other hand, how does the crew handle the situation? If you could talk to us on that front.
Well, any incident, any occurrence for that matter, which takes place inside the cabin, be it a food issue or passenger behavior, anything, a report is filed by every the crew in charge of that particular flight. So there is always we call it CCIC, the cabin crew who's in charge of the cabin section. So they're supposed to keep the commander informed and separately file a report to their department. So for every flight, whether the flight went well or was there an incident or whatever the case is, because the airline also needs the feedback. That is their source of information besides the secondary which comes through the media. So the airline should have got the information directly from the crew and the captain, and immediate action should have been taken when the doors were opened. The passenger should have been by the police, the CISF at the airport.
All right. We seem to
Probably
be
not informed that we reached this situation. So we are not, basically this amounts to hiding information, concealing, or trying to destroy evidence. So whatever evidence was there was probably destroyed, moved. The clothes, people who may have taken photograph. Now you can, after 3 months, you can keep looking for evidence and this matter will keep going on in the court. But for the passenger who has suffered, there is no immediate relief. And the passenger had to write to Air India, the chairman of Tata Sons. So for a common man, imagine what would a common man state be? So a passenger traveling in the business class or first class is probably well connected or has some reach, but a common man cannot do all these things. So if I file a report on Air Seva or write to the minister, nobody's going to reply to me. So this is the state of affairs. Imagine for a common man, these things, if God forbid this happens in the cabin for a common person. So the system doesn't work. One is that we want everybody to fly. We want everybody to fly safely, but people have to be educated that these are the etiquettes, responsibilities. You have to be responsible, and these are the regulations and the consequences. If you violate any of these things, the consequences have to be very clear. But we don't focus on the consequences. For example, when the seat belts were introduced, the consequences were glaring. That, for example, on a cigarette box, you see the consequences of cancer. Those are posted. Those are the methods, psychological methods of informing people that these are the consequences of violating the rules. So we are not educating passengers, do not know their rights. So when we want everybody to fly, then passenger education is very important. We want to serve alcohol right to the doorstep and want to serve alcohol in the aircraft, but people have to be told these are the rules, these are the limitations. So you cannot continue forever. If the crew identifies that a passenger is beginning to misbehave, first thing is to stop serving alcohol to the person. And if there's a lady passenger sitting next, they must immediately try to move or segregate this passenger from others so that he doesn't become a nuisance. So preventive actions, training of the crew, even though Air India
absolutely.
crew are very experienced. So it's surprising that such an incident happened and they could not identify this to prevent the incident.
Absolutely, Captain Singh. But appreciate you as well as Sarosh Damania joining us on the broadcast and giving us your viewpoint on this front. But at the moment, we leave it at that. All right, let's move on to